Hello and welcome. I'm glad you're here. Let's start.
Vanessa Carter was 36 years old when she came home from a 17-hour hospital shift and realized her family had tried to erase her daughter from her own house. The hallway light was on when she unlocked the front door of her home outside Cedar Falls, Iowa. Her feet throbbed inside her worn nursing shoes. All she wanted was a shower, silence, and to kiss her 8-year-old daughter goodnight. Instead, she stopped dead outside Emma's bedroom. The room was empty. The pink curtains were gone. The little bookshelf Vanessa built by hand was gone. Even the glow in the dark stars they had painted across the ceiling together were being covered in thick gray paint. For one terrible second, Vanessa thought something horrible had happened. Then she saw the cardboard boxes, Emma written across them in black marker. Her younger sister, Chloe, stood near the window adjusting a ring light while humming to herself. "Oh," Chloe said casually, "you're finally home?" Vanessa's voice came out low and steady. "Where's my daughter?" Their mother, Patricia, appeared in the doorway with her arms folded tightly across her chest. "She's with her father for a while." Vanessa stared at her. "What do you mean, for a while?" Patricia sighed dramatically, as if explaining something obvious to a difficult child. "We discussed it as a family. Chloe needs this room for her content studio. Emma can share with you whenever she visits." "Whenever she visits?" The words landed harder than a slap. Vanessa looked slowly around the room. Emma's drawings were ripped off the walls. Her blankets were stuffed into garbage bags. Half the painted stars had already disappeared beneath dull gray primer. They hadn't just moved her, they had replaced her. Chloe shrugged. "Honestly, it's the best room in the house for filming." Vanessa felt something inside her go completely cold. Not anger, not heartbreak. Clarity. 3 years earlier, Patricia and Vanessa's father had moved in temporarily after his surgery. Chloe followed because Chloe never survived more than 6 months without someone else paying her bills. Temporary became permanent. Patricia took over the kitchen first, then the bills, then the routines. Eventually, she started talking about the house as if Vanessa were just another resident. And Vanessa let it happen because she was exhausted all the time, because she worked nights, because she was raising a child alone, because keeping the peace felt easier than defending herself every day. Until now. "When did Emma leave?" Vanessa asked calmly. "This afternoon," Patricia answered. "Her father picked her up." "You called him without asking me?" "You weren't answering your phone." Vanessa almost smiled. She had been in trauma care trying to save a 14-year-old boy after a highway collision, but apparently missing phone calls meant surrendering parental rights. Patricia lifted her chin. "Honestly, Vanessa, someone had to make practical decisions around here." Practical, that word did it. Vanessa looked at the stripped room one last time, then quietly walked away. Behind her, Chloe laughed softly. "Can you at least move the rest of the boxes tonight? My photographer comes tomorrow." Vanessa kept walking because they still thought she was weak. That was their mistake. 40 minutes later, Vanessa picked Emma up from her ex-husband's apartment. The moment Emma saw her, she burst into tears. "Mama," she whispered, clinging to her neck. "Grandma said I don't live there anymore." Vanessa held her so tightly it hurt. "No one decides that except me," she said quietly. On the drive home, Emma fell asleep in the passenger seat, clutching her stuffed rabbit. And somewhere between the interstate and their neighborhood, Vanessa made a decision that changed everything. No more warnings, no more patience, no more family meetings where everyone voted on her life while standing inside a house she paid for. When she got home, the lights were still on. Patricia sat in the kitchen drinking tea. Chloe was filming a skincare video in Emma's old room. Vanessa walked upstairs, opened her dresser drawer, and pulled out a manila folder. The deed. One name. Vanessa Carter. Then she made 3 phone calls. The first was to an attorney. The second was to a locksmith. The third was to hospital administration. By sunrise, Vanessa had requested 6 weeks of accumulated vacation time she had never used in 8 years. Because for the first time in her life, fixing her own life mattered more than saving everyone else's. Saturday afternoon arrived. Chloe's studio launch was in full swing. Influencers wandered through the house drinking wine and taking photos. Patricia floated around proudly giving tours like she owned the place. At exactly 2 o'clock, the front door opened. Two uniformed deputies walked inside beside a locksmith and three movers. The room went silent. Patricia stood up so quickly her chair scraped the floor. "What is this?" Vanessa calmly placed a folder on the kitchen table. Formal eviction notices, legal and signed. 30 days for her father, 14 days for Patricia. Immediate removal for Chloe, who had never contributed $1 toward the mortgage. Chloe laughed nervously. "You're joking, right?" Vanessa looked directly at her. "No." Patricia's face turned white. "You would throw your own mother out?" Vanessa's expression never changed. "You threw my daughter out first." Silence crashed across the room. One of Chloe's influencer friends quietly grabbed her purse and left, then another. The deputies remained near the doorway while the movers unplugged Chloe's expensive lighting equipment. "You can't embarrass us like this in front of people," Patricia hissed. Vanessa finally smiled. "You should have thought about embarrassment before telling my child she no longer belonged in her own home." For the first time in years, Patricia had no speech ready, no manipulation, no guilt, because power disappears the second someone stops surrendering to it. Chloe started crying when the movers carried out her camera equipment. Patricia threatened lawyers. Vanessa handed her the attorney's business card. Her father sat silently in the corner, exactly as he had sat silently through every boundary Patricia ever crossed. 3 weeks later, they were gone. All of them. Vanessa changed every lock in the house. Then she repainted Emma's ceiling herself. This time they added twice as many stars. Emma named a new constellation after her mother. The Protector, she called it, and Vanessa cried for the first time in months, not out of sadness, out of relief. Patricia spent the next year telling relatives Vanessa had abandoned her family, but relatives stopped listening once they learned Patricia tried to remove a little girl from her own bedroom to create a social media studio for a 32-year-old unemployed daughter. Even Patricia's church friends stopped defending her. As for Chloe, her online career collapsed before it ever started. Turns out, positive energy content loses credibility when people learn you evicted a child for better lighting. Vanessa never apologized, not once, because she finally understood something important. People who mistake kindness for weakness always act shocked when kindness ends. A year later, the house felt peaceful again. No criticism, no manipulation, no votes. Just Vanessa and Emma beneath a ceiling full of stars no one would ever paint over again. And every night before bed, Emma still whispered the same words, to the moon and the dog star. Only now she said them in a room nobody would ever take from her again.
Submit to